You ever realize partway through a project that started as something fun, just some weird concept that you pulled out of your ass, you realize you're telling a story that is far more personal than you initially set out to tell? Well, that is what happened for Scarlet Moreno and myself on Little Lucha and The Big Deal. What started as me and Scarlet trying to just work together and make a wrestling movie quickly became a movie about creative failure, identity, the struggles with growing older, and why people keep chasing dreams even if they should have just fucking given up. So today, Scarlet and I sat down and talked about why wrestling was the perfect backdrop to tell this story, what we learned in the process from each other in making this short film, how low-budget filmmakers can take those limitations and turn them into something meaningful. Working on a project like this allowed me the opportunity to get thrown around in the ring and have a good time while still saying something meaningful. Why the hell did we pick wrestling?
I mean, wrestling is an art form, and now it's come to a place in society where we recognize that, right? It is an art form, it is theatrical.
Yeah!
Maybe people have scoffed at or been less apt to take seriously. So is indie filmmaking, right? Sometimes it's like a thing that people are like, oh, you're making a short. And like, you're like, yeah, that's actually the only thing I can make right now and the only way to express myself right now. And so it's a type of art that, you know, isn't necessarily mainstream. Nobody goes to the movies to watch a short film, unfortunately. So I feel like that's where we were kind of at, is like we found this like seed of truth around how we feel, which is like we're doing our fucking best to realize this dream that is really hard to realize and that is really hard to make come true. Being a professional wrestler in the 80s as a woman was probably also not something that was easy to make come true.
When we were on Rebel Without a Crew, the term indie got thrown around a lot. Low budget and independent. And when I think of low budget and independent, naturally my brain goes to the wrestling low-tier indie scene, just because I grew up watching Lucha wrestling in Mexico, ECW, which was considered like low rent at the time, and those sort of like backyard brawls in the early days of the internet. And I'd get these videos, so I was really big into wrestling. For me personally, to tell a story that I was like, okay, what can I relate the filmmaking experience of what I'm going through and where I'm at? Wrestling seemed like a natural place. I don't really think artists accidentally reveal themselves in what they're doing. I think it is generally far more intentional. They will say that people accidentally do, but I feel like most good artists I watch are like putting themselves out there in an intentional way. And for me, that was a very intentional way to be like, I want to be a badass. Like, I want to be thrown around. So I found a way to tell a story that specifically made me feel a little cool.
Yeah, you just find the thing that you are excited about, which for us was like vintage wrestling, and then tell a very universal story through that lens. Well, I remember we talked about that when we were on Rebel. You were like, I want to make something where I think about what the background colors are going to look like with the costumes, because that's something that I do in most of my work. I remember you and I talked about that, and I was like, well, let's do it. Like, let's figure out a way where we can bring this heightened world to life and do that with very interesting, grounded character work.
I like to work with incredibly character-driven stuff. I really wanted to make sure that, you know, we could meld these ideas together into something that would, if I could take some frames from it and show people, I'd be proud of. I think there's also very much a fear of irrelevance, aging out of your dreams and not being able to continue something. And that was something that was happening while I was on Rebel Without a Crew.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah. As a woman too in filmmaking, I very much mirrored or felt like The Big Deal in some ways, where it was like, can I do that? Like, can I continue to make this my priority when like I'm also aging, right? Like there is constantly that struggle of like, how do I balance this life that I want so badly and the life that I'm also creating as a mom, as a wife, like as a woman in the arts, like So I think that brought a really interesting perspective and like an urgency to the big deal, right? This urgency of like, I'm in my mid-30s, like, am I still gonna do this? Like, do I keep doing this? And the answer is, you know, we figure out the answer in the story.
One of my favorite things with low-budget filmmaking is how a ridiculous concept or something as simple as I want to get my ass kicked in the ring can grow into something meaningful, something with a lot of heart, and a project that becomes more than just that. And in the end, kind of figuring out what a project is with creative people, pulling out these incredible meanings and incredible personal sentiment. That happened with Little Lucha and the Big Deal, and I hope you all go check it out, watch the short film. Huge thanks to Scarlet for coming on this video and talking about this with me. Huge thanks to everyone who worked on Little Lucha and the Big Deal. It was such an incredible project to be a part of. I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy to have it on the Flush Studios YouTube channel. Make sure to like, comment, ring the bell to the film gods and the algorithm bastards to make sure that these videos get seen. Well, that's the only way that this channel continues to grow and people continue to see my stupid movies. Cheers, everybody. Keep kicking ass, keep doing what you do, and as always, stay rebellious. Pew, 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 pew. I gotta go make more coffee. Oh, that's not good. Ugh. Well, YouTube doesn't track well with women, so I am gonna cut that whole part. Literally beat you up. So in my head, I'm like, I feel beaten up in lots of moments. Like, I consistently feel...
This is so weird. It's plugged in. Wait, I need to plug it back in. What the hell?